In the previous video, I mentioned that I spend about 1 hour per day on my personal project. In this video, I want to talk about more about my personal productivity tips, if you will. So this is not like e-discovery related. This is more about how I get things done, how do I accomplish personal projects that I'm working on, such as videos and programming. And to briefly explain the situation, I have a full-time job. I work for a litigation support vendor. And as a personal side project, I have my own website and a YouTube channel, both are called #legal. I create applications for e-discovery and I make videos for YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever you happen to be watching this. So how do I get things done? First thing I do a lot of planning ahead of time. I use my phone and I use a notes app on my phone to take down various notes during different parts of the day. So let's say I'm on the train in the morning or in the afternoon. I have about 45 minutes of train time. So instead of playing Candy Crush, what I do is write my ideas for either videos I want to make or apps I want to write. This happened to me multiple times where I was either walking somewhere, I'm on my lunch break, just doing whatever, and I get an idea for something. And I just get my phone out and I type out pretty much entire script for my video. Of course, I don't write down everything I'm gonna say word for word. I just write out bullet points of what I'm gonna talk about. So writing notes is extremely important, and you find those little moments throughout the day when you can take notes and make lists. Now that I have my list written down, when I get home, I can be so much more efficient. I have about 1 hour of productive time that I can dedicate to my projects. So when I sit down to do something, I can just look at my list, I know what I wanted to do, and I can start working on those tasks. Of course, it's not always exactly 1 hour. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Depends how I feel that day. Sometimes maybe I don't feel like doing anything at all, and that's fine. And other times I will put 2 hours in, and at some point, maybe after half an hour, my brain just starts to melt, and I just stop. Another thing that I find helpful for me is working on one project at a time. So let's say I'm making videos, I will completely switch my brain into making videos. I'm going to just think about topics, what I want to talk about, locations, and I'll spend maybe a whole week. Every day I would go film something, come back home, maybe edit, maybe then do captions, go back, film more, and so on. So I stay on one thing. And then after a week or so, I change it completely and I stop filming anything and I start programming. And I start getting ideas from people, getting feedback, adding features, sending out test versions, and so on. Working on one type of project at a time is helpful to me, helps me stay focused in that direction. However, even if I work on one project at a time, I always leave multiple tasks for me to do. For example, in video making, there is filming, there is editing, there is caption making, there is color grading. So what I try to do is leave a number of these tasks open for me to do. This way, if I get tired of doing something, let's say making captions, then I can switch to, let's say, editing or color grading. So this way, instead of going to YouTube and completely being useless, I can switch to different tasks and at least accomplish something. So having a number of tasks open and available to switch in between really helps me. Now, why did I say I'm only productive for about 1 hour per day? Well, I also want my share of free time. I also want to watch Netflix, YouTube. I want to just relax and do something else. You know, some people think like, oh, when I get home, I just start programming and I spend all evening doing that. But no, I don't want to do it all the time. I want to do it only as long as I enjoy doing it. And speaking of enjoying, there are things that I just don't have time for. For example, there is a really great community on relativity portal called DevHelp. I want to participate much more in that. I want to read some of the articles that are posted on LinkedIn by people that I really like, and they post these great articles that are fairly lengthy, but I just don't have time and I just don't have brain capacity to read all of them. Same thing participating in other social media platforms. I mentioned Instagram. I want to do more, like I want to post pictures, I want to do Instagram stories. I'll probably get to it, but those are the things I just don't have time, and I'm trying to find a way to sort of incorporate that into my life, and we'll see how it's gonna go. Maybe we'll get there. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a glimpse into how I do things, how I try to be productive, and how much time I spend on things. If you have good productivity tips and ways you stay organized and motivated, please share them. I think everyone likes to hear this kind of information. A lot of people suffer from sort of not being able to organize themselves and commit to accomplishing projects. So yeah, please share any kind of information that you have that people could use to organize themselves and get more done.